So today I want to talk to you about the fruits of the Spirit in a sense. And so it's called, the title is called, They Know Me by My Fruit. All right. Now we went over the fruits of the Spirit and all of them: love, joy. They know you. Do they know you? Do they know you? Because they know me by my fruit. Do they know you by your love for one another? Do they know you by your joy that you have? But do they know you by peace? Do they know that you're a gentle man? Or do they know that you are a gentle person? Do they know you by your fruit? Your fruit, whatever you're bearing, do they know you? Somebody got to ask their wife or their husband, do you know me? Don't you know me? Or do they know you by your anger? They know you by your attitude. They know you by your pride. They know you by your look of everybody else is beneath you. Do they know you when you go into the grocery store? When you walk up to somebody who doesn't know you, do they see something? Do they see a fruit in you? Do they see the spirit of peace in you? A gentleness? Do they see the spirit of goodness in you? You're a good person. Do they see the spirit of meekness in you? Or do they see this person being strong and minded? Do you have a spirit that where people can approach you? If no one can approach you, there's a fruit that you are lacking. So if we go to Matthew 7:19, it says, every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. 20, it says, thus you will recognize them or know them by their fruit. Now, if we take that to the beginning of it, you have Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves. A wild animal in a sense, extremely hungry and hunting for prey. 16, it said, you will recognize them by their fruit. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistle? Grapes don't have thorns. So if you are a grape, goodness, and there's thorns, ain't nobody gonna come towards you. Ain't nobody gonna gather near you because you lying. You'll know them by the fruit that they bear. Oh, you need to examine yourself. You need to know what kind of fruit you got. Now, I can recognize people that I don't even know have a spirit of meekness. Meekness is enduring injury with patience and without resentment. How many of you got that fruit? You hear that? I hear crickets. I just don't hear nothing. Nobody said, I got that, Pastor. Because you're like, if I say I got it, then I probably don't have it because meekness don't be claiming all kinds of stuff, you know. But I'm telling you, I ought to be able to stand and say, I have the ability to endure injury with patience. Do you have long suffering? Does anybody recognize that you are able to take a lot because you know? Do they know you by your fruit? God is saying, beware because you will know them by their fruit. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are like raving wolves. Who is a prophet? Beware of teachers. Beware of dreamers. Beware of bishops and beware of deacons. Beware of those who are the helpers in the church. Beware of Christians that come to you in sheep clothing, but inside they are just wolves. God is saying, beware because you will know them by their fruit. Here's a fruit right here. I'm drinking a Budweiser telling you about the Jesus because it's a light Budweiser. So I'm telling you about the light of Jesus. I'm telling you about how good Jesus is, but yet I'm drinking this Budweiser. Amen? So, well, is it a sin? Well, it depends on how that person feels about the Budweiser. They might like Budweiser, but they ain't saved. So they're looking at you as drinking it. What fruit are you carrying? What are you teaching? Beware of false teachers. Matthew 24:11. And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. Are you a diseased tree? Now, I say no, because you are saved, which makes you a good tree. All right. So you are a good tree, but you have to work on bearing good fruit. Just because I have a peach tree and there's a couple of bad fruit on it, I just take it off and throw it away. I don't cut it down and burn it. I will, however, cut it down and burn it if it doesn't bear all good fruit. If all of the fruit go bad, it's time for the tree to go. And if you continue not to bear good fruit and continue to bear bad fruit, which is all hate, anger, being not having any patience with anybody, unforgiveness, no trust, no faith in your fellow brothers and sisters. And sometimes when you're married, you got to turn to somebody and you turn it to your mate and you say, I have faith in you. And in other words, we use other words. We say, I trust you. That's a fruit that I have towards you. So every tree that is healthy, your health is in the Lord. Your help is in the Lord. You have to work on these things so people can see you from a distance. How close do I have to get to you to know what fruit you are bearing? How close do you have to get to a peach tree to know that it's a peach tree? To recognize the difference between a peach tree and an apple tree. You got to know the tree by the fruit that it bears. And you will know a true Christian by the fruit that they bear. 19, it says, every tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut down. Now, God is not saying that he's going to cut us down because we get upset with somebody and we don't want to forgive somebody and we get irritated by them and we don't have no patience toward them, But if I'm having an issue with somebody, but yet I'm gentle with most people, then I got a gentle fruit. Do you know me by my fruit? Do you know one another by the fruit? I mean, if you're going to go with somebody, you need to know them. Some people say, before we go out, you need to get to know me. Or before we continue, you need to get to know them. And what you want to do is you got to know them, because you can't just go by the looks, because I'm telling you, the looks can fool you sometimes. I mean, there's some people who are beautiful on the outside, and the inside is rotten to the core. And you only know them as you get close to them, because you got to get close enough to see the fruit, to recognize the tree. So you have to fight with everything in you to represent, to have that fruit of the Spirit. John 13:34 says, a new covenant I give to you. This is Jesus talking to his people. That you love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. You got to love them as I love you. And then they'll know you by your fruit. That you are my disciples because you love people just like I loved you. Now, how did God love the people? How did Jesus love his disciples? He loved them. Now, listen, some fruit don't get along with other fruit. Okay? Now, long suffering just ain't going to get along with hate. The Bible does say things like light should not walk with dark. It does say that we should not be hanging out with people who are unsaved unless you got a plan. And your plan is to save them. So you hang out with them so that you can let them see your fruit, see what kind of person you are, and they may change their way. 35, it says, by this all people will know you, that you are my disciple, if you have love one for another. John 15:8, it says, by this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. We can glorify God by bearing much fruit. Do they know you by your fruit? Some of you, think about somebody that you know, and you think about their fruit. First, I want you to think about somebody that you know that has one of these good fruits. You're like, yeah, I know so and so has that fruit. Yeah, that's it. And then think about somebody that you know that just I wish they had the fruit, but they got something else. I'm talking about Christians, our brothers and sisters. They got the fruit of hating you, fruit of just, they got the look of unapproachableness. If you can think about them, they can think about you. They see in you. Husband, do you see in your wife? Do you know her? Wife, do you know your husband? Girlfriend, do you know your boyfriend? Boyfriend, do you know your girlfriend? Do you know them? Do you know them by their fruit? Are they kind and gentle, meek and lowly? Do they have long suffering? Are they a peaceful person? Are they joyful? Are they happy all the time? Or are they sad? You get to know them. And before you know them, you need to know yourself. Examine yourself and be able to say that they know me by my fruit.
Thank you for listening to this short excerpt. If you would like to view the full service, please go to our YouTube channel, Grace Cov 1, find the full list of videos, and search for the video titled Full Service and Sermon. We also welcome you to join us at Grace Covenant at 2885 Clay Avenue. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, God is over all.